Good morning. As we speak, we're in the throes of everyone being in lockdown. So the club has asked me to answer some questions from our supporters, which I'm happy to do, of course, as always. I mean, we have actually been, myself, Aaron Downs and Asa Hall, we have been ringing round some of our mature supporters over the past couple of weeks, making sure that they're okay. We've had some great chats with them, and it came to pass that obviously they had many questions they wanted to ask us. Some conversations took half an hour, one or two an hour, but we was there for them. They wanted to ask a few, so we thought it might be a good idea to. We won't get round all our 3,500 supporters, but what we can do is have this little video that where I can answer questions. It is a bit off the cuff because I've only just got these questions, and I thought sometimes it's better, just to see the question and then say how I feel at this moment in time. I hope you're not laughing at my shirt. My shirt's a Torquay United shirt with the palm trees on it, and it's one I wear when the sun comes out. And normally I'm in Marbella or Dubai somewhere, but obviously that's not the case at the moment, and I'm sure everybody's at home, and hopefully you're keeping safe and keeping your distance, of course. So it's very important that we get through this as quickly as possible so that we can get the season back on its way. All right, so I'll get straight into it. And the first question was from an 8-year-old, Jensen Ditton. Okay, Jensen, how are you, mate? Hope you're practicing your football in the garden. And his question is, how did it feel when we won the league? Well, I'm sure it's how you felt when you was a supporter of a team that won the league last season. We was ecstatic. We was absolutely proud of ourselves. And the good thing when you win a league, of course, as the manager, you're always very happy. But you're happy not just for yourself and your family, but you're happy for the supporters who'd had a little bit of a rough time a couple of seasons before. We're happy. I was happy for the players because some of them had not had a promotion before. Certainly happy for the club, its directors. So there's lots of people that you're happy for other than yourself. But it was a fantastic feeling. It was a great year, and we haven't finished this one yet, so we don't know whether this is still a possibility of being a great year. But we don't know when it's going to start. But well done, Jensen. It was a good start, and we'll carry on to the next ones. Keep yourself safe, mate. Okay, so next question was from Tony Bennett. You sure? Is the next one Frank Sinatra, and then people will get me at it? No, it really is Tony Bennett. All right, Tony, perhaps you'll give us a song later on in the video. Tony's question was, what do you think the leagues should do to resolve the season if it's not possible to play a game until the autumn or next year? It's a very difficult one because at the moment the three governing bodies, the FA, the National League, and of course the government, are all in discussions at the moment. We obviously have to wait and see what happens with the coronavirus and how long that goes on for. But I believe that most organisations would actually like to finish the season, but obviously it has to be postponed until we can play the games, because everybody feels it's safe for everybody to get back together, and there'll be crowds and players up against each other, and it's got to be safe. So we don't know when that is. Nobody's made that decision yet. I think maybe in a couple of weeks, when the coronavirus situation calms down a bit, then maybe we can start thinking about when we get back to pre-season, if you like, or pre-end of season training, so that we can prepare for our last 10 games of the season. So I believe they want it to finish, and I certainly do. And we've got time. We've got sort of May, June, July, but again, it all depends on the government's directive and the FA's directive as to the situation. All right, cheers, Tone. Okay, so Amy, I have a question on behalf of her son. He would like to know what your best advice is for a junior footballer aspiring to be a professional. Well, that's a nice question, Amy, because my own son, in growing up, aspired to be a professional, and I think the big thing is to enjoy. I don't know, it doesn't say what age he is, but I presume he's only a young lad. So enjoy his football, that's the main thing. Enjoy what he does, work on his weaknesses, bring out his strengths, but try and get that confidence in your game that makes you enjoy it and makes your family that are watching you proud of you, that you've actually affected the game and you've enjoyed your own performance. I mean, no one likes a dumb player, so make sure that you do your schooling and you concentrate, because what that does, the concentration, some footballers fail through a lack of concentration, and some also fail where they can't take on information, and that's where you learn at school how to take on your lessons and remember them, and they remember them for the rest of your life. So school is also important to concentrate on, and obviously enjoy your football. All right, thanks Amy, good question. There's 7 and this is number 4. Actually there's a lot more, but it's 7 today and then we'll see how we go. But so it's Malcolm from Tavistock, and he says, this time last year you had sorted most of the players' contracts for this season. When do you hope at least to tie down the members of the present squad you hope to keep? I'd like to keep most of our present squad, Malcolm, and I'd like to not only keep them, but obviously we've got to add to that. I mean, there may be 1 or 2, as always, fall by the wayside for whatever reason, and you have to build and you have to try and strengthen, if you like, and we're no different. And again, the question comes up, at the moment we don't know what our league and what the government are going to advise us to do regarding contracts, because our boys' contracts finish at the beginning of May, end of April, beginning of May, but we may be playing past that date, so we're waiting for the directive to see, and the players are waiting for the directive to see whether what the situation is regarding whether they have to sign a new contract, whether they can advance their current contract or lengthen their current contract. So managers, players, clubs are all up in the air as we speak. So if these questions go on for 3 or 4 days, I'll do 7 a day or something, then maybe I'll have more information as we go along. All right, so it's a difficult time for the lads, but there's not many of them I want to lose. There's a lot of them that we've put a lot of time into. There's some young lads that will get better and are getting better, and when you put that much time into these players, if you release people too early, then it's a waste of all that time that went on before. So we're going to build. We are going to bring in new players as and when, but most of our players, I'm hoping that will be around for when the season gets going again, and certainly to sign another contract at the right time when we get round to it. All right, nice one, Tim. That's the no, not Tim. Sorry, that's the next one. Nice one, Malcolm. Because probably the players will be pleased about that conversation and that question and my answer. All right, number 5 is Tim Dishcombe from Lincoln. Wow, I hope this is Talk E fan and not going to get me at it here because I've just seen the questions. My question is, in which area of the team needs the most attention for strengthening squad for season 2021? again, we're looking at that. I mean, myself, Downsy, and Pete, my brother, who's our chief scout. We've been looking for all the Y Scout games. That's how we get our football fix at the moment. We're going through a lot of games. We need and want to improve our squad. That's really important, because you have to keep advancing every year and keep improving. So if we can add to the boys that we know are good players and can compete at this level for the following season, then you're improving, and I think we can. We've identified a few players, and now's the sort of time to maybe have a chat to a couple of agents and see whether the players that we're after might be of interest to them to come and join us. So we will be strengthening. When you say about what we need, what area of the team, at the end of the day, you've got to have a strong squad that are strong in every position. And if we can, we'll probably get one of each to join our squad. And in that way, we'll have a bigger squad, because obviously this year proved that with the amount of unbelievable injuries that we had, which is the unluckiest season I think I've ever had at a football club, that you need a bigger squad, and you need players that can be in the background, that when your first team player is injured, you can bring the next one in and it not diminish the strength of your team in any way. So that's what we're hoping to do. So it'll be every area we'll be trying to strengthen in to add numbers to create more competition. All right. Cheers, Tim. Number 6 is Nick Popkins, and he says, I believe this to be a league of giants. Have you ever met me, Nick? Obviously not, but I know what you mean, players-wise. Where big and sometimes ugly football wins. I'm pleased you put ugly football wins. I thought that was big and ugly, but anyway. Where big and sometimes ugly football wins, with 6'2" plus players being the normal. I think our current squad lack in height. Do you agree? And will this be addressed over the summer? Do accept our skill level is good. Thanks for that. Our skill level is good, and our players have potential in the future, but we need results for Torquay and not just the parent clubs. Okay, there's a few little bits in there, Nick. For me, I understand you talking about the big lads, because often games are won at all levels with a corner or a cross or big centre half or a big striker scoring a header. But I don't feel that we are a small team. I don't think that we are particularly small. I think sometimes when you see them on videos, and a lot of our sort of 5'11", 6-footers look a little bit smaller. You can't win a league with all 6'2"ers, that's for sure. So you have to have a balance. I think probably where we do lack a little bit of that height is up at centre forward positions. And there's in my day there was always a number 9, a big striker. That you could just bash the ball in the box and he'd come in and win some headers. But you've got to find the right one for that. He's got to be able to play as well. And there's not many 6'4"ers that are great footballers that play at our level. They're all in the Premiership and Championship. So we don't, we want to win games. We want to win them entertainingly, and we've tried to do that. Sometimes we've had that success in doing that, and sometimes we've looked poor, but that's the nature of this level. So, and we got a few. You look at Kyle, and you look at Robbie Cundy and Joe Lewis, and they're all over 6'2". They're all 6'2", 6'3", 6'4". Even our midfield men, if you look at Asa, he's 6'1". So it's about heart, I think, and whether you're 5'4" or 6'4", it's really important to produce a game that suits your club and your team, and then fight like hell and show that desire and passion, whether it's in the air or on the floor. So I understand the question, but I wouldn't be going out getting everybody 6'3", 6'4", just for the sake of lumping it in the box and seeing how we go. I like to entertain by playing football where we can. Sometimes it happens, sometimes it doesn't. But what was that last little bit? But we need results for Torquay and not just the parent clubs. Clubs like ours need players from loan clubs. We do, because otherwise, you don't. It gives you the opportunity to bring in quality players for less money, because obviously you don't normally pay all their salary. I think we've done okay most for loan players. If you think that Robbie Cundy, Frank Vincent, Connor, Lemonhay Evans, Jake was a loan, and so it's who else do we have as loans? And the only loans that we struggled with a little bit was when we was in trouble and people were going down left, right and centre. We lost 8 players over the space of 2 or 3 weeks. And we had to get people in quickly, and they had to be people that were available. So they came in short term. But I think our long term loans, we've got Aziz in now as well, have done okay for us. I really do. And I think that we're helping them in their careers. We're helping their development. The clubs that loan these people to us actually want us to, or want me and our club to develop these players. And they always go back better players, more conducive to competitive football, because they're not just playing under 23s all the time. And they've also probably got more character and belief in themselves, having played at our level and done well. So that's still a very, very good system where we're allowed loans to come in. I don't think we've had too many long-term poor loans. All right, now my phone's just gone off, so just bear with me. There you go. Right, because we got one more question. That was from Nick Popkins in Worthing. So I wonder how big he is. Anyway, that's another thing. Perhaps you'll write in, Nick. Worthing. Okay, last one. Nick Cowell. Wow. From Texas, USA. He's obviously, they must be self-isolating at the moment as well. They're having it rough as well as all over the world. But Nick, hope you're well, mate, and keep yourself busy. This is, it looks like this is about 3 questions in one, so you took a bit of a liberty. But anyway, as it's come from Texas, we'll have a look at it. What role does GPS play in monitoring and motivating your players in games and training? That's a good start, Nick. It plays a big part in us. It's sort of big brother, really, on their back, and we know exactly how far they've run, how fast they've run, how many intense moments they've had, how whether they've sort of kept up their strength and conditioning. So we look at it in training. We see what they've done. We know how far they should be doing in training and with what intensity. We know their best for their game. So it gives us a marker, and the player a marker to live up to and to get to. And you can bet your life, when our GPS stats are produced, the better the group stat, the more times we've won games. So that's how we see that GPS as being very important. It is sort of big brother, and the lads at the moment have got the GPS things on their back while they're self-training. It's our sessions, but they have to send it in on a phone app to say, You know, we know if we give them 6 kilometres, we know it's 6 kilometres, so they run that. We know where they've run because a map comes in as to where they've run. We know the time they've run it in, how many calories they've lost, etc., etc. So it's a fantastic tool for us, and the lads don't see it as Big Brother; they see it as enhancing their careers because they can actually see the results of what they're doing. All right. Your other question is, have you always played a similar tactical setup and formation, or do you adapt the tactics depending on the players at your disposal? Yeah, I've got a way of playing that I've got in my head, and if we play like the tactics that I've got in my head, we'd never lose a game. But it doesn't work like that, obviously, otherwise everybody would win more games. And sometimes you have to go with the pattern of the team that's available to you. You know, it could be that you've got a few more big uns because a few little uns are injured, or a few more little uns because the big uns are injured. Then obviously tactically you just have to adjust slightly, and that's what I do. And you know, I don't like sort of saying we're a 4-4-2 or a 3-5-2 because I like to think that clever players can get in the position where they need to get the ball to be dangerous, to stop the opposition being dangerous. And at any one time, you know, you can't just, you know, say, why are we not in a 4-4-2 shape? Why are we not? But you can work in training at your shape and your tactics, and to get the lads to understand if there's a slight change, say from a 3-5-2 to a 4-4-2, for instance, or a 4-3-3. So it's a little. They're all subtle, but I don't tie them down to any one formation because sometimes you have to change formations in games. You might be behind, you might be ahead, so therefore you play 9-1 if there's 2 minutes to go and you're 1-0 up. So that's the way that is. And your last question: what are the players doing during the COVID break? I think I've mentioned that. Are they sent workouts to do at home? Yeah, I've mentioned that. I was ahead of you there, Nick. And how structured is their time away right now? It's as structured as it can be. You know, obviously they've got to go out and they can only run out individually. They can only do runs one at a time. You know, they can't go out twice a day, as you know. But there's a lot of home stuff they do, i.e. yoga. We sent them yoga videos to follow. They do their plyometrics, which is the strengthening work. They do their injury prevention work. So they're doing that indoors, but their runs obviously are outdoors. And at this moment in time, I'm pleased to say, and we've been doing it now for a couple of weeks, the boys have been brilliant. And you know, every one of them is putting it in because they know that at any time it won't be in a short period of time, like weeks. It's probably more months. But we've got to be ready for when they do want to finish the rest of the season. So the boys are in no doubt that I want them to hit the ground running when we get back and entertain, as I always say. But I'm sure they'll be looking forward to it. But be ready because we've still got a sneaky chance of getting into that 6th or 7th spot in the playoffs because we've got 2 and 3 games in hand on most people. So thanks for your questions. They were very good. I hope I haven't gone on too long, but they're questions that I know people are asking us when we're ringing round to see if they're all right. So a great set of first 7 questions. Thanks for that. I want to ask you to, you know, stay at home again like everybody else is, and be safe and you know, stay healthy. And also, team of the week, it's got to be the NHS.